Let me tell you something that might surprise you. You don't need to be a pro to do something exceptionally well. You don't need a certificate, a perfect plan, or years of experience to create something great. What you truly need is the courage to start, the patience to keep going, and the willingness to care deeply. Most people never reach greatness not because they lack talent, but because they believe greatness belongs only to experts. They think, "I'm not ready yet," or "I'm not good enough." But my friend, the truth is this: the people who do things exceptionally well are not born with special gifts. They simply learn the art of doing ordinary things in an extraordinary way. This video is not about perfection. It's about transformation. The kind that happens when you take small actions with great focus. So stay with me till the end, because once you understand this art, you'll realize that you already have everything you need to do amazing things, starting today. 1. The hidden truth about mastery. When we think about people who are truly exceptional, athletes who win championships, artists who paint masterpieces, or entrepreneurs who build empires, we often imagine them as gifted from birth. We believe they have something special that we don't: natural talent, genius, or luck. But that's only what we see on the surface. The real secret behind their success is much simpler and far more powerful. It's a mindset, a quiet, unshakable belief that they can always get better with time. There's a story about a young man who wanted to learn how to play the guitar. In the beginning, he was terrible. His fingers hurt from the strings, his timing was wrong, and his voice cracked every time he sang. His friends laughed at him and told him to stop wasting his time. But he didn't stop. Every night when the world went to sleep, he picked up his guitar and practiced one song. He wasn't chasing perfection. He was chasing improvement. Day after day, he played with heart, not just with his hands. A year later, he still wasn't the best guitarist in town, but something had changed. When he played, people listened. They could feel something honest in his music, a kind of sincerity that only comes from effort and love. That's the hidden truth about mastery. It's not about being perfect. It's about caring deeply and continuing to learn. You don't become exceptional by avoiding mistakes. You become exceptional by understanding them, by growing through them. Every failure teaches you something if you're humble enough to listen. That's how real masters are made. Not by luck or genius, but by patience, courage, and the quiet decision to never give up. 2. The power of small improvements. You don't become great overnight, no matter what social media tries to tell you. Real growth is quiet, slow, and often invisible in the beginning. It happens through small, consistent improvements that build upon one another. Day after day, week after week. Most people give up too soon because they can't see the results right away. But those who stay patient, who trust the process, are the ones who eventually reach excellence. Think about a sculptor carving a statue. He doesn't create beauty with one big strike of his hammer. He takes thousands of small, careful strikes, removing a little at a time. Every movement, every touch, shapes the masterpiece. From a block of stone, something extraordinary begins to appear. Not through speed, but through patience and precision. Life works exactly the same way. Your future is built not in one grand moment, but in the daily choices you make. The small efforts that seem insignificant at first, but later define your success. If you want to write, start by writing one good paragraph every day. Don't worry about writing a whole book. If you want to improve your English, focus on one powerful sentence and speak it with confidence. If you want to get fit, do 10 push-ups, not 100. Because excellence doesn't come from doing a lot once. It comes from doing a little consistently. The art lies in showing up, especially when no one is watching. Every time you show up, you train your mind to be disciplined, and discipline is the foundation of greatness. Small steps might look small from the outside, but they create massive change over time. Remember this truth. Small steps are not small when they move you forward. Keep moving, keep improving, and one day you'll realize how far those small steps have taken you. 3. Care more than others. Think is necessary. One of the greatest secrets to doing anything exceptionally well is to care more. To care deeply, even when others don't. You can't fake passion. You can't pretend to care. It has to come from inside you. From that quiet voice that says, I want to do this right. The truth is, the best workers, teachers, artists, or leaders are not always the most talented or the most intelligent. They are simply the ones who care more than most people ever will. When you care, you notice the little things that others ignore. You listen when others talk instead of waiting for your turn to speak. You see problems before they happen because you're paying attention. You take pride in your effort, not just the outcome. And because you care, your work carries a certain energy, a kind of honesty that people can feel. You stay a little longer. You polish your work a little more. You go the extra mile not because someone told you to, but because you can't imagine doing less. And here's the truth. Caring is rare. We live in a world where many people do only what's required. They focus on finishing fast instead of finishing well. But the person who cares, who gives just a little more effort, stands out instantly. People remember that energy. They trust it. If you want to do something exceptionally well, care more than anyone expects you to. Care about the quality of your words, your actions, your time, and your relationships. Care about how you make people feel. Because when you put your heart into everything you touch, the world feels it. And that's how you rise above average. In a world full of half-hearted effort, caring deeply becomes your greatest advantage. 4. Practice with purpose. Many people spend hours practicing, but only a few truly improve. And the difference lies in purpose. You can repeat the same thing 1,000 times and still stay in the same place if you don't understand why you're doing it. Purposeful practice is not just about time. It's about intention. It's about practicing with focus, direction, and awareness. When you know exactly what you're trying to improve, every minute of your effort becomes more powerful. Think about it this way. A person can practice the guitar for 3 years and still sound average, while another person can practice for 1 year and sound remarkable. The difference isn't talent, it's focus. The first person plays the same songs without reflection, while the second pays attention to every mistake, listens carefully, adjusts their technique, and learns from each repetition. That's what purposeful practice means. Observing your errors, correcting them, and repeating with better understanding each time. Let's say you're learning English. Reading random words or watching videos can help a little, but reading with a goal, like improving your pronunciation, expanding your vocabulary, or understanding emotion behind the tone. That's what accelerates your growth. It's not about how long you practice, but how mindfully you do it. A few minutes of sharp, focused learning beats hours of unfocused effort. The art of doing anything well lies in awareness. When you're truly present, you start noticing patterns, strengths, and weaknesses you never saw before. You begin to grow faster because you're no longer practicing blindly. You're practicing intelligently. So don't practice just for perfection. Practice to understand. The more aware and intentional you become, the more exceptional your skills will grow, because awareness turns effort into excellence. 5. Don't compare. Improve quietly. One of the biggest reasons people never reach excellence is because they waste their energy comparing themselves to others. From the moment we start something new, we look around and see people who seem faster, smarter, or more talented. Instantly, we begin to feel small. We forget that everyone's journey is different. We forget that behind every success story are years of unseen effort, failure, and learning. The truth is, the moment you compare your beginning to someone else's middle, you lose your confidence. You stop growing because your focus shifts from improvement to insecurity. Comparison kills creativity. It steals your joy and blinds you to your own progress. You start to measure your value through someone else's achievements instead of your own effort. But excellence is not a race. It's a journey you walk at your own pace. The only person you should compete with is your past self. Be a little better than yesterday. Speak a little clearer. Move a little faster. Learn something new. That's all it takes to grow. Those small steps of personal progress, done quietly, build real strength over time. Exceptional people understand this. They don't need to announce every improvement or seek constant validation. They know that real mastery grows in silence, away from applause and judgment. They let their work speak for them. They are focused on becoming better, not louder. So keep improving quietly. Let your growth be your answer. The people who truly grow are the ones who don't need to prove anything. They simply live it. Remember, true success isn't about being better than others. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Stay focused on your path, move at your own pace, and one day, your quiet effort will make the loudest impact. 6. Learn the art of patience. We live in a world that demands speed, fast food, fast fame, fast success. Everyone wants to see instant results. But real excellence doesn't work that way. Anything truly exceptional takes time, patience, and quiet persistence. You can't rush growth, no matter how badly you want it. A tree doesn't grow in a day. It spends months, even years, building its roots underground before it ever rises above the surface. Only when it's strong enough does it begin to grow tall and bear fruit. The same is true for your dreams. They need time to take root. The reason most people quit is not failure, it's impatience. They start something with excitement, but when results don't appear right away, they give up. They plant a seed, but dig it up too soon to check if it's growing. They forget that progress is often invisible in the beginning. But just because you can't see the growth doesn't mean it's not happening. The best things in life often take the longest time to build. Strong health, great skills, deep relationships, lasting success. If you want to do something exceptionally well, you must learn the art of patience. It means trusting the process, even when you can't see the outcome. It means working silently, staying consistent, and believing that every small effort is adding up behind the scenes. Patience is not about sitting still. It's about staying committed while waiting for your hard work to show results. Those who wait, work, and believe always win in the end. Because patience shapes your character, strengthens your discipline, and teaches you to enjoy the journey. So don't rush your growth. Water your dreams daily and give them time. Greatness blooms for those who dare to wait. 7. Embrace failure as feedback. Every person who became great at something has failed. Not once, not twice, but countless times. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey to success. The people we admire, inventors, artists, athletes, leaders, all faced rejection, mistakes, and painful disappointments. But what made them exceptional was not that they never failed. It was how they responded to failure. They viewed it differently. They didn't see failure as an ending. They saw it as a lesson, a message, a mirror that showed them where they needed to grow. When you fail, life is not punishing you. Life is teaching you. It's showing you what doesn't work so you can find what does. That's valuable information, but most people miss it because they're too busy feeling ashamed or discouraged. Instead of giving up, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Every failure hides a seed of wisdom, if you're willing to look for it. Thomas Edison understood this truth deeply. When asked how he felt about failing thousands of times while inventing the light bulb, he said, "I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways that didn't work." That's the mindset of a master, turning every mistake into a stepping stone. Failure refines you. It humbles your ego. It forces you to think smarter, work harder, and build inner strength. Each mistake removes a bit of weakness from your character and replaces it with wisdom. That's why you should never fear failure. The real danger is in not trying, in staying safe and stagnant. Because the more you try, the faster you learn. And every lesson, no matter how painful, brings you one step closer to mastery. Failure, when embraced as feedback, becomes your greatest teacher and your most loyal guide on the path to excellence. 8. Consistency beats talent. Let's be honest, talent helps, but it's not everything. You can be naturally gifted, but if you don't show up every day, your talent will fade like an unused muscle. Consistency is what transforms potential into power. It's the secret ingredient behind every extraordinary achievement. The truth is, doing something well once is easy. But doing it again and again, especially on the days you don't feel inspired, that's what separates dreamers from achievers. Think about it. Anyone can run fast for a few meters, but only the consistent runner finishes the marathon. Anyone can practice a skill for a week, but only the one who keeps practicing for months or years masters it. The world doesn't reward bursts of effort. It rewards steady effort over time. Consistency builds habits, and habits build character. And character, not talent, is what carries you through life's challenges. Imagine a single drop of water hitting a rock. One drop means nothing. But if that drop keeps falling, day after day, year after year, it slowly carves the stone. That's what consistency does to your goals. Every small, repeated effort shapes your destiny, even when you can't yet see the result. Most people quit too early because they don't realize how close they are to a breakthrough. If you want to stand out, be the person who keeps going. Be consistent even when you're tired, even when no one notices, even when doubt creeps in. Talent might get you started, but consistency keeps you growing. The person who keeps showing up, who refuses to quit, eventually becomes unstoppable. Because in the end, motivation fades, talent rusts, but discipline never fails. In the long run, consistency doesn't just beat talent. It becomes talent. 9. Humility. The secret ingredient. People often think confidence is loud, that it comes from speaking boldly, showing off achievements, or proving how talented you are. But true confidence is quiet. It comes from humility. Humility is the understanding that no matter how much you know, there is always more to learn. It is the willingness to grow, to listen, and to accept that you do not have all the answers. Humility allows you to approach every task, every challenge, and every person with openness, instead of pride or arrogance. Arrogance closes doors. It makes you think you are already enough, and it blinds you to opportunities for growth. Humility, on the other hand, opens doors. It teaches you to observe carefully, listen fully, and learn from every experience. When you are humble, you move through life like water, flexible, adaptable, and calm. You accept change, you learn from mistakes, and you stay focused on improvement rather than recognition. No matter how skilled or successful you become, you must never stop being a student. The moment you believe you have nothing left to learn is the moment your growth stops. The greatest masters in every field, whether in art, business, sports, or science, never assume they have arrived. They continue exploring, experimenting, and seeking new understanding. That is what makes their work exceptional. Their confidence is not loud or flashy. It is quiet, steady, and rooted in the knowledge that they are always learning. Humility is not weakness. It is strength. It allows you to see the world clearly, accept guidance, and refine your skills without ego. When you pair humility with persistence, care, and purpose, you create a foundation for excellence that lasts a lifetime. The secret ingredient to doing anything exceptionally well is not talent alone, not effort alone, but the quiet power of humility guiding every action. 10. Turn ordinary into extraordinary. Doing something exceptionally well is rarely about inventing something completely new or revolutionary. True excellence often comes from taking ordinary tasks and performing them with extraordinary attention, care, and intention. Anyone can cook a meal, but a great chef brings love and precision to every ingredient, turning a simple dish into a memorable experience. Anyone can speak, but a great communicator speaks with feeling, conviction, and purpose, so that each word resonates. Anyone can work, but a great professional invests meaning and care into every task, no matter how small, transforming it into something remarkable. You can apply this principle to every aspect of your life: your studies, your work, your relationships, your habits. Excellence does not live in the activity itself. It lives in the attitude you bring to it. The difference between average and exceptional is not usually skill alone, but the willingness to treat every task with seriousness and dedication. If you approach your daily actions with the mindset that they matter, over time, they will. That is how habits become mastery, and how small efforts accumulate into extraordinary results. The universe has a way of rewarding those who respect the process, those who honor the journey instead of rushing to the destination. Small actions done with care and passion create ripple effects you may not see immediately, but they shape the person you become and the work you leave behind. So, whatever you do, approach it with pride, focus, and passion. Treat even ordinary tasks as opportunities to excel. Polish your work, invest thought, and give your full attention to each moment. This is how ordinary actions transform into art, and how everyday life becomes a platform for exceptional achievement. Excellence is not about grand gestures. It is about consistently bringing your best to the smallest details. 11. Focus on depth, not speed. In today's fast-paced world, everyone is in a hurry. People want instant results, quick money, fast fame, and immediate recognition. Social media encourages speed, not quality, and the culture of rushing has made patience seem outdated. But here's the truth. Exceptional work is not about how fast you finish. It's about how deeply you engage. True mastery requires depth, not speed. Depth means slowing down, paying attention, and immersing yourself fully in the task at hand. It means going beyond the surface, understanding the nuances, and refining every detail until your work resonates on a higher level. When others are racing to complete tasks, you take your time to understand, to learn, and to perfect. Depth is what separates mediocrity from brilliance. Think about your favorite song, book, or speech. The reason it touched you, inspired you, or stayed with you is because someone devoted time, energy, and care to make it meaningful. It wasn't created in a hurry. It was crafted with intention, layer by layer, until it became something extraordinary. That same principle applies to anything you do. Your work, your studies, your relationships, or your creative pursuits. To excel, you must slow down and be fully present. Don't just move through tasks, immerse yourself in them. Listen carefully, notice details, and refine your approach. Excellence comes not from speed, but from deep attention and mindful effort. When you focus on depth, your work gains a lasting power. It speaks for you long after you're gone, leaving an impact that superficial effort never could. So, resist the urge to rush. Value the depth of your work and let every action reflect care, thoughtfulness, and mastery. That is the essence of doing anything exceptionally well. 12. Keep your standards high. To do anything exceptionally well, you must raise your standards, and not just once, but continuously. Most people settle for good enough. They finish tasks quickly, meet the minimum requirements, and convince themselves that it's enough. But good enough never leads to greatness. It never inspires, it never stands out, and it never lasts. True excellence comes from refusing to accept mediocrity, from holding yourself to a higher level of performance than anyone else expects. Ask yourself this simple question every day. Can I make this a little better? That small question has the power to transform your life. It encourages you to look beyond the surface, to notice details that others miss, and to invest the extra effort that separates ordinary from extraordinary. High standards are not about perfectionism or fear of failure. They are about caring enough to give your best each time you act, to pay full attention, and to refuse to rush through your work. When you consistently maintain high standards, something remarkable happens. Your habits improve, your environment changes, and your results begin to rise naturally. You start attracting challenges that push you further, opportunities that demand more, and recognition that reflects your effort. Tasks that once felt impossible suddenly become achievable because you've trained yourself to reach higher than before. Excellence is not a single achievement. It is a habit of raising your standards day after day. The person who constantly seeks better results, who refuses to settle for average, and who values quality over convenience will always rise above the rest. So, hold your standards high in everything you do, in your work, your learning, your relationships, and your personal growth. The higher your standards, the closer you get to exceptional mastery. 13. The magic of persistence. Persistence is one of the most powerful forces behind exceptional achievement. Talent, knowledge, and skill are important, but without persistence, they often go to waste. Persistence is the quiet determination to keep moving forward, even when progress seems invisible. It's the decision to continue when others stop, to keep showing up even when motivation fades, and to trust that consistent effort will pay off in the long run. There will be days when nothing seems to work. You might practice for hours and feel like you're standing still. You may fail, face criticism, or encounter obstacles that make you doubt yourself. These are the moments that define your future. Every great achiever has faced such moments. The difference is they didn't quit. They kept going step by step, day by day, trusting that each small effort would eventually compound into significant results. Even a 1% improvement each day, done persistently, adds up to massive growth over time. While most people give up after a few setbacks, persistent individuals quietly move forward, slowly gaining ground until they surpass 90% of those who stop trying. The key is not speed. It is the commitment to keep progressing, no matter how slow the journey feels. Persistence also builds resilience. It strengthens your character, sharpens your focus, and teaches you to embrace challenges as opportunities. Life has a way of opening doors to those who refuse to quit. Doors that remain closed to the impatient, the discouraged, and the easily distracted. By pushing through discomfort, doubt, and failure, you gradually create momentum that carries you toward your goals. So, embrace the magic of persistence. Keep pushing. Keep showing up. Keep learning. Trust the process, and over time, you will achieve levels of excellence that most people only dream about. Persistence is the bridge between average and exceptional. 14. Passion gives life to skill. You can learn every technique, memorize every rule, and practice endlessly, but without passion, your work will feel lifeless. Skill alone can achieve competence, but it cannot create magic. Passion is what breathes life into your efforts. It gives energy to your actions, direction to your choices, and emotion to your execution. When you are passionate, every task becomes meaningful, every challenge becomes exciting, and every success feels deeply rewarding. When you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. You wake up with purpose, eager to engage, ready to improve. Even the smallest details matter because your heart is invested in the outcome. That dedication shines through, and people notice. They can feel the difference between someone performing out of obligation and someone performing out of love. Passion is the invisible force that makes effort appear effortless, that turns ordinary work into something memorable. Moreover, passion is contagious. It draws people towards you, attracts opportunities, and creates momentum that pure skill alone cannot generate. The energy you radiate when you care deeply about your work inspires others to believe, follow, and support you. Passion amplifies your impact, turning even the simplest action into a statement of excellence. So, whatever you choose to do, your job, your art, your studies, or your hobbies, do it with love. Bring your full energy, curiosity, and enthusiasm to it. Passion transforms ordinary tasks into unforgettable experiences. It is the spark that turns talent into mastery, practice into art, and effort into achievement. When passion leads your skill, your work doesn't just get done. It resonates, inspires, and leaves a mark that lasts far beyond the moment. 15. Final words. Excellence is a choice. My friend, now you know the art of doing anything exceptionally well, even if you're not a professional. The path to excellence is not reserved for the naturally talented or the lucky. It is open to anyone who is willing to care, to persist, and to bring heart to everything they do. It's not about instant perfection or overnight success. It's about patience, purpose, and the quiet commitment to grow a little every day. You don't need to wait until you are flawless to start. Every step you take, every effort you make adds up, and over time, perfection follows those who are willing to begin. Remember this: the amateurs who care deeply will always outshine the experts who don't. Your attention, your effort, and your love for what you do matter more than raw talent. Excellence is not a skill you are born with. It is a conscious decision you make every single day. At English Achieve, we always emphasize that growth comes from showing up, from practicing with intention, and from caring more than anyone expects. It's about making small, meaningful improvements that compound into extraordinary results over time. So go out there, do your best work, no matter how small. Speak your truth, no matter how simple it feels. Give your full heart, no matter who is watching. When you bring your best to life, life responds in kind. You don't need a professional title or recognition to be exceptional. You just need to show up consistently, care deeply, and never stop improving. This is the essence of mastery. This is the principle behind remarkable achievements. Excellence is a choice, and it is available to anyone willing to commit. That is the true art. The art of doing anything exceptionally well. And now, the choice is yours.